was being conditioned to be the man and the leader that we know him to be today. Now, can you imagine the amount of faith that it took to grow up to disagree with a man who was not just your father and the leader of the biggest and most feared black movement in America, but he was a man that was called the most powerful black man in America? Can you imagine the faith and the willingness to sacrifice everything, family, the comfort of a nice home, personal security, money, and all of that? Imam Muhammad would talk to us in class sometimes about his sacrifices that would bring you to tears. Not tears of sadness, but tears of love. But he wasn't looking for any kind of sympathy. He was just showing us, just sharing with us what it took to be successful. Times when he would be living in hotels, and his children helping him in his work, being offered paid by this organization, that organization, to help him. And he turned them down because he wanted to help us. These achievements, these accomplishments, and these successes did not come without solid faith in the spirit of sacrifice. Now, we can't talk about the son and not mention the father. I want to give you this while it's on my mind. I was from Los Angeles with Imam Hassan. He's a rich historian. He would share stories that the Honorable Muhammad would tell. He gave this story. I don't know if it was anecdotal or what. He said the Honorable Muhammad told this story about Master Farad Muhammad. Master Farad Muhammad wanted Elijah Muhammad to meet him in his room. Wanted him to wait outside the door until he called him to meet with him. So he said, hours went by. And Elijah Muhammad said, what is he doing in there? So he didn't want to knock on the door. So he bent down and looked through the keyhole. He said, Master Farad Muhammad was standing inside the keyhole. So we know the importance of that history. We know his attachment to Master Farad Muhammad. So after hearing Master Farad Muhammad, just one time, he instructed his wife, Claire Evans, to throw out all the pork out of the house. His life had been completely changed by Master Farad Muhammad's message. After Master Farad Muhammad left the Honorable Elijah Muhammad with the burden of leading the nation of Islam, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad received opposition, suffered persecution, pursued by the police, government agencies, ran out of cities and states. Throughout all of this, he continued his work in building the nation of Islam for over 40 years. What will make a man go through this? What would make a man go through all of this for over 45 years? Solid faith. He was committed to a message and to a mission that he couldn't separate himself from. He was completely obedient to Master Farad Muhammad and to a message that changed his life. He and the Nation of Islam survived it all and has evolved to where we are today in 2010, where we have gained and rightfully earned respectability all over the globe as a member of the Muslim Ummah and as members of the Free Society. As a Muslim community established upon the Quran and Sunnah of Muhammad the Prophet, peace be upon him, and was the one that taught us. Who was the one that taught us that? Imam W.D. Muhammad. We would be foolish to separate ourselves from that mission and that work. This has been 80 years. Since 1930 to 2010. Almost a century. A movement led by people not highly educated, no PhDs, no doctorate degrees, but a mission that started with a man with a third grade education and continued with a man with a few hours of college education. And as the teacher of PhDs. Now, I want to wind this down. To do so, I will share this with you. And I'll I'm sure you will appreciate it, comes from my tradition. First, my word is my bond, and my bond is my life. And I will give my life before I break my word. And God says in the Quran, say, my Lord has guided me to a way that is straight, the religion of right, the path of Abraham, the true in faith. And he was not of the polytheists. Say, truly my prayer and service and sacrifice, my life and my death are all for Allah, the Lord of all the worlds. No partner has he. This I am commanded. I am the first of those who submit. So believers, take this with you to say that I am commanded by my own spirit to order my life upon the belief that God is one. And so I submit my whole life to that order, to that will, and to that purpose. And I believe that as God was with the prophets Abraham and Ishmael, as he was with Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his companions, he blessed them. And he was with Imam W.D. Muhammad. God is also with me. And as he made them successful, he will make us all successful. Thank you, believers. I greet you all in peace. Assalamu alaikum. And again, thank you to Mosque Muhammad II, for this beautiful opportunity and honor to be here this afternoon. Assalamu alaikum.